Hello! Against all odds, I am still Cvetka, and I am finally back. Oh, what a clusterfuck. Um, Hi! I don't know how many people are tuning in to start with, but whatever. It's just chill, kind of an impromptu stream. I decided, I think 36 hours ago, yeah, I'll do a stream. Technically, I started streaming again. Hi dear. Yeah, technically, Maria and I here started streaming Borderlands again last night, which is fun. I didn't stream on my own channel for that, but I'm discombobulated. I am Cvetka, and I am very warm. It is very warm here. Pardon me while I get some ice water. There's kind of wishing I could trade places with my friends in Toronto right now. It's I shouldn't complain too much because I grew up in the Mojave Desert and it's way warmer there than it is here right now. And also, this time last summer, I was in China and it was a lot hotter in China and really, really, really humid in Qingdao. But yeah, it's kind of I'm not a fan of the heat. I like the Pacific Northwest for most of the rest of its weather. And it's just kind of too hot to move. And it's just been really bleh. So this is kind of a whatever stream. What is it? I was supposed to be off for 2 weeks because I went back to visit my family on the other side. And that the other side, make it sound like they're dead. On the other side of the Cascades. I was supposed to be gone for 2 weeks because I went and visited my parents. Looney and I both went. But that turned into 4 weeks because let me turn down VLC a little bit. Oh shit, what was it? We had to have all the electrical in our apartment replaced. An electrician had to come in, so we had to completely tear down our everything in our living space a week before we left. And then I didn't have enough energy to like put everything back the way that it was supposed to be that week before we left, so I just like whatever, I'll start a week early. And then we got back and it's just kind of the apartment was still in the completely discombobulated state that it was in when we had left from the electrician, and it's just been too warm to move. Like, all of my clothing feels like it is sticking to my body uncomfortably from the heat. I don't like it. I have a fan set up. Hopefully no one can hear the fan. Probably not. But I'm going to be here chugging on ice water, so... Anyway. What else is going on? Yeah, you know what? Let me do something real quick, because I kind of forgot to put out some Discord notifications. Let's see. Let me do this real quick. Should have remembered to do this before I started, but like, again, I've been gone for a month, so whatever. That, and I have a second that my monitor at my PC is turned to face towards the workbench, and I can't reach the keyboard and trackball, because I'm a weirdo who uses a trackball, but I have a second keyboard and touchpad over at the workbench so that I can kind of control things remotely. Notifications. Life would be easier with an RSS feed or something. Yeah. I think that looks probably good. Good enough. Downsize with you. Anyway. So, today, I decided a couple of days ago that I'm finally gonna work on, let's see. This thing. I'm gonna turn off. I don't know how well the face tracking will work with me turning off my overhead light, but and also I can prop this up with, let me use the analog meter. I really got to get some kind of background framing going for the close-up cam, but there's that, and you can just see the second hand on the right-hand side. So, also, I can turn off auto exposure and turn this down. So the clock will be, yeah, a little more like that. It's a little bit flickering a little bit because it's a multiplex display and the frequency. I honestly have absolutely no idea what the frequency is. I just kind of used whatever millisecond delay I felt like in the program. It's not multiplexed with a dumb clock. It's just multiplexed in the Arduino sketch. This thing does not display the correct time. In fact, you can compare it to the clock up above, and it is off by almost 2 minutes. So the story behind this clock is Looney and I didn't have like a clock in our living room, and as we're decorating up the living room, it's like, okay, yeah, I could pull out my phone, or we can just look on the menu on the TV when she's gaming or something. But I grew up with clocks in every fucking room of the house. I want there to be a clock in the room with me that I can just glance at. And I want something that looks cool, that's decorative for the living room, and I like Nixie tubes. So I had these tubes. They're a pair of surplus, a quartet of surplus Soviet IN-12 tubes that I had left over from another project, from a flight simulator related project actually, that I ended up not using. Oh, drinking on stream, that'll get me in trouble. So I built this thing up, and it's really goofy because over and over and over again for like 6 months, Looney forgets that it's there because in her mind it's a decorative thing, and she will ask me what time it is, and I'll, like, we're sitting on the couch, what time is it? And there's a clock over there. Oh yeah, shut up, I forget. So anyway, it's built using some components recycled from other projects. A lot of the plastic that is, let me see, turn on auto exposure again and turn on the lights. It's actually somewhat easier to show this off on the overhead cam, I think. Yeah, check that shit out. Oops. Come on. It's been forever. I also forgot how to use my hotkeys. There we go. Reset the camera. So this thing is currently plugged in and running, so I have to be a little bit careful with this because it is 175 volts DC. The board that it is all mounted on, like the plastic is just, I build a lot of things out of, this part will actually be easier on the close-up cam. I build a lot of things out of ABS plastic sheet, like 3mm ABS plastic. And because you can weld that together really easily with acetone. And that's what all of this is. And it's just scrap from other projects that I've cut up to mount everything on so it looks like crap. And the actual housing is... It's a food container. It's like a storage bin or a food bin or something. It's like a Tupperware container. Or it's a sponsored by Rubbermaid. The stream is not sponsored by anything. Yeah, it's not true. But yeah, it's got some cooling and ventilation holes in the back and for the cord and for the buttons to set the time on it. But it's just fucking plastic storage tub that I used because why not? Because I don't just want it to tell the time. I also want it to like have there we go. Have you know, I want the guts of this thing to be visible. It's decorative. It's very Junkyard Wars chic. So I can show in more detail how some of this works, but I'll do that in a little bit. I'll do some actual work on the clock in a little bit, because the thing is, I don't actually know where all the parts are. Like I said, this is very disorganized, kind of last minute stream. I don't really know what I was gonna do. Earlier this week, I'm like, I'll work on the clock. Because the primary problem with it is the microcontroller that runs it is a Teensy 3.6, which for the application is massively overkill. It does not need 180 megahertz fucking 32-bit processor to run this thing. So I want to switch it to a different like there's nothing wrong with it necessarily, but I want to switch it to a different microcontroller, partly just to free up the 3.6 for other projects where I do need that kind of computing power. And the other thing with it, the reason that I use the 3.6 in the first place is because it is the only clock that it's the only microcontroller that I have currently with a built-in real-time clock. It's got a CR2032 backup battery right there, clipped to the top of this thing. You can kind of see it. Homemade battery holder from Perfboard and shit. Very silly. But the real-time clock in it, as I mentioned earlier, is not very accurate. This thing has lost almost 2 minutes in 6 months. So, yeah. It's, pull this thing back. Now let me see. It's not very accurate, so I wanted to I got an external real-time clock chip. I got a, what is it? DS3231, I think is what that is. From Adafruit. Water. To hook that up to a less powerful microcontroller, both to free up the Teensy 3.6 for other projects and to make the clock more accurate. But anyway, yeah, it has the backup battery in it, so if I unplug it, let it completely power all the way down. It actually takes about a minute for the voltage to drop all the way down from 175 volts, but for the tube driver circuit, but the microcontroller is off. But the clock is still running on a backup battery, so just plug it back in, and I don't have to worry about resetting the time every time the power goes out. So that's nice. And hypothetically, it's more accurate than if I tried to just run a clock program, a clock sketch on an Arduino. But, not accurate enough. So, and also you can see the second hand is a analog ammeter with a hand-drawn dial in it. It's running off of PWM. So, anyway, yeah, so I need to work on this thing. But before I work on this thing, in addition to that, it's mailbag day. Ah. Ta-da! Yes, I hate Amazon too. But it's what I have the money for, so oh well. I got reimbursed by the Model Railroad Club for a lot of the work that I've been doing and a lot of the parts that I use. And I was gonna spend some of that money. I was gonna spend some of that on a sailboat. Like, that's been my kick for the last week and a half, is I almost bought a 14-foot sailboat. Because my university is getting rid of some of them surplus, and I live like right on the ocean, and it's really inconvenient to go out to the lake where the university boathouse is. Yeah, it's free to use, but it's a pain in the butt to go there, and they're usually not open when I don't have class and so forth during the school year. So I'm like, well, I'll just take one of the surplus boats and put it here on the bay. But and it looked like, because they're older boats, they're not like lasers or quests or anything. They're special boats. They're not particularly impressive anyway, but they were designed and built by the university faculty back in the 80s. And they're old and tired, and they are replacing, the boathouse is replacing them with a fleet of RS Quests. And they were getting rid of them for really cheap. And I was thinking, $55 a month dry moorage for a 14-foot dinghy. If I can get one for like $300, that would be fantastic. But as I started adding up the ancillary costs of renting a trailer to move it, and tax on the thing, and the amount of gel coat repair that the hull needed, and new lines, and needing to get my own wetsuit, and because it's cold up here in the ocean, needing to get my own wetsuit and life vest, which are things you can just borrow if you're renting a boat. What I thought was going to be a $400 project was looking more like an $800 one, so I decided not to do that. So I did not buy a sailboat, tragically. I have a dream of sailing to Victoria and back from here, and also of sailing down and transiting the Lake Washington Ship Canal, the Ballard Locks. Someday. Yeah. Oh well. So I decided not to buy the boat. So some of the money that I was thinking about applying to the boat instead went to tools, because tools are always a good investment. And here's one thing. I switched to the overhead cam. Turn the light spot back on. And I got some red LEDs, because I've been using red LEDs for so many goddamn projects. I need more of them. I already got a new case of green LEDs. The Train Club bought them for me for replacing a lot of them that I used at the Train Club. And they're really good. They're not the normal green LEDs. I forget what the actual wavelength of them is, but they're the really, really nice looking ones that have that Fallout radioactive green glow. Instead of the kind of yellow dingy ones. But, so I got a thing of red LEDs. I got some, 10-turn precision trimmer potentiometers, because I have been needing those for audio projects. I need I don't have most of the parts that I need for building an actual synthesizer yet. I do plan on building a custom analog synthesizer. The electronic music class that I took last year in university was a little bit of a life changer insofar as it's like, okay, I play piano, and I work on electronics. I really like music, and I really like electronics. Why have I never considered getting into electronic music before? Oh shit, Moog synthesizers are actually cool as hell. And I actually, as a result of me taking that class and the professor, if you tell a university professor that they've actually like changed your life, they get all happy about it. And I shared with him that as a result of that class, I actually built a working voltage control oscillator. Um, it wasn't a very good one. I qualify it as flagrant abuse of a 555 timer. So that, and like it wasn't very good. It was just kind of a uh, on a whim on a solderless breadboard. Not anything worth bothering with long term, but I did build a working voltage control oscillator. I need to get some more appropriate parts to build one, and also want to build a keyboard. And I have a design for like a voltage control voltage piano keyboard for Duophonic. Has two voltage inputs, one for the highest key you press and one for the lowest key you press. And I want to work on that, but that takes a lot of money that I don't have. But one of the things that I do need eventually for doing that, and inevitably is a useful thing to have for a lot of other projects, are precision trimmer potentiometers, which a potentiometer, if you do not remember, I still have this from an earlier project sitting around. This is a potentiometer. It's like a volume knob. It's just a variable resistor. It has 3 terminals on it. Turn it all the way down, turn the resistance down to 0, turn it all the way the other way to turn the resistance between the center terminal and ground all the way up to whatever it's marked with at the top, which this is a 1K. 1K ohm resistor. So, potentiometers, hooray! These are normal potentiometers, 3-pin, as they should be, because they're not rheostats. However, the dial on the inside has a worm gear, like a screw. So you turn that little tiny knob on it with a screwdriver, and that lets you very, very slowly and carefully adjust the potentiometer by very tiny increments, and they use that for fine-tuning analog electronics. So I got a bunch of 10-turn trimmers, 10 complete rotations to run the potentiometer wipe all the way through. So I got a bunch of those. 100 ohm up to 500k ohm. So that's nice. They don't. You want to use the highest practical value you can for potentiometers because you don't want them pulling very much current, and they're just basically static voltage dividers. You run them into high impedance inputs for stuff. So I got those. I got a big thing of 0.1 inch pitch female pin headers for plugging in microcontrollers and stuff to perk board, because I was completely out of those. So I got... Now, I'm not going to run out for a long, long time, I suspect, of these things. So, that's good. And you can just cut these to length as you need them. You pull... Like, you figure out how long you need it, and then go one longer and pull that pin out, and then cut the plastic with wire cutters. Trim them to length that way. So, I got that. So, and then I got some tools for the heat gun. These are, it came with like a trowel, which is fine. I don't need one for anything, but I have one. Turn on the ring light so that's not, yeah, okay. Okay, cool. I have a paint trowel now in case I ever need one. I didn't have one, but whatever. And then this thing is also supposed to be for like a corner scraper. It has some bits that go onto it, and I don't care because the actual thing that I just need this for is for, yeah, it's that triangular piece that goes to it. I don't care about these. um, adapters for my 35mm Porter cable heat gun because I wanted specifically a focusing bit, focusing nozzle for a tighter airstream for doing finer work, both because I use that for heat shrink, obviously, for electronics, but I also use it for burning the end of nylon rope and webbing. And like the wide open 35mm nozzle is not very good with that. So I got that. This one also kind of counts as a 35 to 24mm adapter, so I can use even smaller nozzles if I eventually get a kit down to like 1, 2, 3mm diameter nozzles. I don't know what the aperture on this is. I think it's 12mm, something like that. So got those, and then it's got a couple other fittings. I don't know what I would ever use this one for, but I have it. So there's that, and then there's that. This, I don't know what that's specifically for either, but I like that it looks like an old turbojet nozzle. So that's one of the things that I got. Get in there. And this is the end of the first bag. Open the second bag because they sent it in 2 bags for some reason. Another thing that I got was a bunch of different style test leads for my meters, like alligator clip leads and stuff. But that hasn't arrived yet. However, let's see. There's this, and there's this. Haha, I tricked you into watching an unboxing stream. This thing is special. We will get to that in a minute. These are MOSFETs. Let's see, where is my penknife? Because shockingly, in all the time that I've spent doing DIY electronic projects, I've never needed or used MOSFET transistors for anything. So I bought a kit of MOSFETs. Because I'm going to need them for a specific project at the Model Railroad Club. Also, I have bought so many things from... Shit, what the fuck is this company? Yeah. Pentuple E. Shop. E shop. I don't know. But all their shit, I've gotten, diodes and, ceramic capacitors and stuff, and they come in these style of containers. We just open them up like that, and they are very clearly labeled. I fucking love these containers. They are the greatest thing in the world. I love these for small components. So, but yeah, I got a thing of MOSFETs, and I'm going to need those for a project that I will eventually bring up on this channel. Related to stuff at the Model Railroad Club. But right now, I do not need those. So that's just kind of on standby. But I got those. So I got a thing of MOSFETs. Get rid of that. And then this thing. This is going to make life so much easier because of desoldering things is a pain in the ass. I have flux desoldering wick. This is really, I ran completely out of desoldering wick, but they gave me a bunch at the train club. Like they had a huge fucking like 10-pound reel of it. So I just stole a bunch of it and put it on an empty solder reel. So I finally ran out of solder on this reel that I've been using. I've finally gone through in the last 2 years about 1 pound of 6040 lead solder. So I got that, and then I had this thing, and I can't remember whether or not I've ever used this on stream before. But this is a desoldering piston, and I kind of hate this thing. The idea is, if you have never used one of these before, like One way that you can remove solder from a component is by using the braid, which uses capillary action to pull solder into itself, which is very useful. But sometimes if you need to like open up a hole in a board or something, you use some kind of suction tool, and there are a lot of different styles. The old ones that I used to use when I was first learning soldering looks like an enema bulb, and I'm not kidding. I have one of those around here somewhere, but I'm not going to dig it out. I fucking hate those things. I was really happy when I found out about these desoldering pistons. My first one that I had was really good, and then the nozzle on it got kind of screwed up, and I couldn't get a replacement for it, so I got this one, and it sucks ass. It's not very good. The center rod in it keeps getting stuck and detaching from the piston on this one, but the idea is you push this thing down until it snaps into place, and then you heat up the joint that you're trying to desolder with the soldering iron, and you put this over it, and then you hit the little button, and it pulls the solder into itself. And that's great, except getting this thing and the soldering iron on the point at the same time, and getting enough heat into the solder point while also having this thing close enough to it to where the suction will actually pull in the solder, not too much of air gaps on the side where instead air will just rush in. It's a giant pain in the ass. So the main thing that I end up using this for is just like I'll have a board set up vertically in a vise and put the piston on one side and the soldering iron on the other side to clear out plugged pass-throughs. But so it's like, okay, yeah, these things made life easier in some ways, but it's not great. So the main new toy that I bought myself that will make life a lot easier, I hope, got a lot of good reviews, is this thing. This is a desoldering iron. So it's got a little stand and a sponge, which I hate those things. I will just use a copper brush or a copper sponge pad like they usually do. But this thing, we're going to figure out how it works together. But basically it is a desoldering piston. It's got the plunger here and the release button here. However, it goes through the middle of a hollow soldering iron. This is in fact self-heating, so you just press this down against the hot point and then it pulls the solder in through the tip. So like, assuming that this thing works as advertised, this should make life significantly easier. And then I know that there is a way to remove piston from this thing. I'll just look at the manual. Instruction manual. English. Instruction manual before using. Yeah, I'm working on that. That's not really instructions. Let me see. In their use. That's about extension cords, basically, I think. Soldering produces fumes. Yes, I know. Do not hit the soldering iron against the work surface to remove flux residues. Why the fuck would you do that? I've never heard of anyone doing that. That's so weird. Turn off the power switch. There is no power switch. It comes on when you plug it in. Doesn't have... This is just... These are generic instructions for using a soldering iron. Not instruction... Oh, here we go. This is the instructions for this actual thing. This unit is suitable for desoldering and specialized desoldering applications, which are apparently different things, on through-hole components and other operation. This is especially suitable for desoldering through-hole components with multiple pins, for example, LCD screens, Nixie tubes, integrated circuits, microchips, socket pins, and more. I find it really funny that this, people definitely do that. Okay, yeah, I've never seen or heard that. Also, hey, welcome. Yeah, so I find it really funny that the instruction manual specifically indicates Nixie tubes. But anyway, operation preheat for 3 to 5 minutes. Yep, I got all that. Melt solder completely before pressing the soldering button. If there are solder remains inside the hole, resolder, then repeat the desoldering procedure. If the component's pin is stuck on the sidewall inside the hole and you are unable to extract the solder completely, add solder to resolder, then use the desoldering nozzle to melt the solder completely. Move the nozzle back and forth and get the component's pins moving together with the nozzle. When the component's pins are no longer in contact with the sidewall of the hole, press the desoldering button to extract the solder completely. Oh, it's definitely, yeah, I was saying a minute ago, I fucking hate the bulbs. That's what I grew up using. What I've been using for the last few years is a piston-style solder sucker where you have to hold it and the iron on the point at the same time, which are significantly better than the bulbs, but still of limited usefulness in a lot of applications. So this is the same thing, but it just pulls directly through a self-heating tip. So this should make life significantly easier. But what I want to know about is cleaning. Storage tube clean. Let's see. Don't use metal files. I know. Do not apply excessive force. I know. After every operation, clean the nozzle, then tin with a new layer of solder. I know. Cleaning pin. Did it come with a cleaning pin? It did come with a cleaning pin. And it came with 2 more nozzles. Are they different size holes? I don't think they are. No, they appear to all be the same size hole, I think. Okay, so there's a cleaning rod like a rifle. Alright. Yeah, I've seen the vacuum ones. I thought about getting one of those, but those are, like, expensive. But yeah, I grew up using the bulbs, and I hate them. I find them so frustrating to use. So anyway, turn on, let me see. Heating element cleaning, I'm not worried about that. Storage tube cleaning, turn off power, wait until storage tube is cooled completely before cleaning the storage tube. Lift up. It says lift up. Does it? No, those have to be... I gotta press those in with a tool. Right? Probably. Maybe I should do it with pliers. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Lift that out. And then... yeah, okay. I find it funny that this has a contraction spring instead of an expansion spring, but that would be necessary because of the design. So, it's on there. That should be... that ought to be significantly easier to clean out. Okay. Cool, cool beans. So, we're gonna give that thing a try. Yay, new toy. Oh, that bag is not sealed. The one of the tips came out. Get back in there. Put that back in the box. Put the instruction manual back in. I guess I'll keep the little holder out, even though it would be better to use it with my actual soldering iron holder. I'll keep this out anyway, just in case. thing. Remove before use. Oh, right. This contains mica. It is normal for the product to emit white fumes for no longer than 20 minutes on first use. So, not going to worry about that. Okay. Drinking and smoking on stream. How risque. It's hot enough that I am actually putting ice in my drinking water, which I almost never do. Even on hot days. Anyway. So, we will experiment with that soon enough. I'm going to set it to the side. I'm going to set these goodies to the side. This thing says, give us a good review. Does it count that I'm giving you a good review on my channel, on my stream? I don't know. Yes, I am so disorganized that most of my stuff is sitting to either side on the floor. It's been a rough month. So everything is kind of discombobulated. Oh well. I'm gonna set these things to the side over here. Should be out of the way enough. And get back to the clock. This bastard. Yeah. So yeah, my decorative Nixie clock with the analog meter second hand. So, couple of things about the design of this clock. So it has a 120 volt to 12 volt adapter. Here, Meanwell power supply. I fucking love these. I swear by Meanwell power supplies. They're wonderful. Which drives, that puts out 12 volts, and that drives a cheap, this thing pulls so little current that I doubt it needs the heatsink, but I put one on anyway. 3.3 volt regulator, linear regulator. And also drives this, which is the adjustable power supply that goes up to, I think, 250 volts. And I noticed the quirk actually earlier today while I was working on this that I will show with the high voltage power supply. But anyway, it's adjusted down to the tubes, run at 175 volts. And then it's got the Teensy 3.6 because that was, at the time, the only thing I had with the real-time clock. It's got the battery up here, which... the backup for the RTC, it's not a very accurate RTC, and I want to free up the Teensy for other projects where I actually need that much computing power. This thing doesn't need 180 megahertz 32-bit processor for its task. And then it is running 4 surplus Soviet Ion 12 tubes, and then a couple of neon lamps for the dots in the middle. And it's 3 boards deep for the control circuitry for the Nixie tubes, and it is, as I always say, all-you-can-eat spaghetti night at Saphiran Laboratories. Nixie tubes are not connection efficient. So this needs a few things done to it. I want to swap to a different microcontroller. I have a, what is this? Itsy Bitsy AT-SAMS21 48 megahertz. This is still kind of overkill, but it's not the Teensy, so I will swap that out. The good thing is it is 3.3 volts, and that means that I don't have to do any voltage adjustment because this thing does run at 3.3 volts. And I could convert it to use a 5-volt microcontroller, but it would be a little bit annoying to do so. So swapping to a different microcontroller is like one of the tasks, and switching to the external real-time clock that I built. Now the problem is that's not quite going to be happening on this stream, and this is going to take a few days to do, a few streams, because right now I don't know where the RTC that I bought is. It's somewhere in this office. But again, everything is so disorganized after the chaos of the last month. I do not know where it is. Also, I'm being very careful not to touch the mouthpiece of my water bottle because I have lead on my hands. Always wash your hands before touching your face or food or drink with after you've been working with solder stuff. I actually probably haven't touched that much leaded solder yet today, and I'm sure that the desoldering iron is tinned with unleaded solder, but I do use 60/40 tin lead. It's just so much easier. So that will be the main thing is swapping this with the other microcontroller and using an external DS3231 real-time clock, because both I want to free up the Teensy 3.6 for other projects because it is the most powerful microcontroller I currently have, and I'm going to need that for aforementioned project that the MOSFETs are for model train stuff. Kind of a surprise. But that has to do a fairly large amount of floating point math very, very quickly, so I actually intend for that project to use Teensy 4.0s in the end, but for prototyping, I want to free up the 3.6 for that. And also use the external RTC because this thing isn't very accurate. It's lost almost 2 minutes over 6 months, so... But actually, I built this... Did I build this before I went to China or after I came back from China? I think I built this after... No, I built this shortly after I got back from China, so I built it, like, last August or September or something. I probably... Okay, the last time I would have changed it would have been the last time we had the daylight savings time change, so it's been a few months. And yeah, it has lost almost 2 minutes in that time, so the Teensy 3.6's real-time clock is not actually that accurate, and I'm sure it's like tweakable in the software, but I don't feel like messing with that. I'm just going to use the DS3231 because that will solve all accuracy problems. The nice thing with that is that it actually has a built-in thermistor to automatically detect the temperature of the timing crystal and adjust the counting rate based on the temperature of the crystal, so it automatically compensates for temperature changes. So that'll be fantastic to have that in here and not have to worry about that. And so that's the project. That's the main part of the project. The other part of the project, let's see, this thing is too dark, or rather it's not lit at all. There is no light on the second-hand display, so I can't see the second, because, you know, it's a tiny little needle. So adding probably not a backlight, because if I add, oh, let me see, where's something I can use. Oh, give me my, where is my flashlight? There it is. I think putting a backlight behind it would be kind of ugly, because you can see the circle pattern where it is not opaque because of the way that it is installed. So yeah, lighting it up from there, it technically can be backlit, but that does not look very good. So let me see. Yeah, that doesn't look very good. So I'm probably gonna actually front light it and I'm not sure what I'm going to front light it with because I don't have any orange LEDs and I don't have any more neon lamps. I might use incandescent bulbs because I've got a bunch of little rice grain incandescent bulbs left over from model train projects that I could use, but I kind of, even if they're running on extremely low voltage, so they last a fairly long time, I'm not really a fan of incandescent lights. I also don't think it would get very hot running at that voltage, but yeah, I'll probably use some of the green LEDs just because, like, oh, where is that box? Oh, back there. Excuse me a second. These things, again, are like the really good green LEDs. They're not the yellowish tinged ones. They're like the Fallout green ones. I really like these, and they look really cool, and so I might use one or two of them underneath. So, let's see how that goes. The other thing that needs to be fixed with this clock is the dots. The center dots on the clock, which are a pair of non-matching neon lamps, because of course they are. Turn that on. One is significantly larger than the other. It doesn't matter for the purposes of this. However, the bottom lamp flickers really bad, I think because I used too strong of a ballast resistor on it. You have to use current limiting resistors just like an LED. And I think I used too strong a resistor, and so the ionization of the gas around the cathode is unstable and it flickers, so I think I need to swap that out to get a higher current on that lamp. And the other thing is that if I go ahead and plug it back in, I don't know how well you can see it. Let me adjust the... yeah, the center dots are significantly brighter than the digits, and I don't know how well you can see on the stream that the digits are flickering because they are multiplexed, and they're multiplexed to a completely random rate that I don't know just however many milliseconds I felt like putting in the program. They do not flicker to the naked eye. They look fine to the naked eye, but you can see that the center dots are much brighter and they're not flickering because I didn't put them on the multiplex. They're just running directly off of the power supply. And so I built this thing and then I was like, oh wait, right, that makes sense. They would be way brighter because they are not turning on and off. So it's kind of distracting how much brighter they are than the rest of the clock. So I'm going to have to make a few changes to that. So that is all the shit that I need to do. So I got my work cut out with this thing. And I noticed, right, I was going to mention that I noticed a quirk with this thing. Let me get the soldering iron out of it for a moment. I noticed a quirk of the power supply that, for my purposes, does not matter. However, PSA for anyone else who wants to use it. These are, I think they have a newer model. These are not the standard ones that are available anymore, but the high voltage power supply that I used on this thing is, let's see, what's the best lighting situation here? Probably that. Focus. This is a, what the fuck is this? It says it on the board somewhere. Nixie power supply 1.1.0. Well, maybe the model number's on the bottom. I don't remember, but if you see a Nixie power supply that looks like this, interesting little note with it. Turn this thing back around and get the analog meter up here. And over overhead view. That is set to a 250 volt scale at the moment. I'll use it here, and alligator clips. Where are my alligator clips? There they are. Connect black to black. Put on ground. And then this one, the positive terminal, yeah, we're set 250 volt scale. Clipped this onto that light off. The bottom of the resistor for the lower dot. Clip that right on there. So I have, that is 175 volts coming from the power supply. And if you watch the meter, I plug this thing in, the Nixie tubes run at 175 volts. Plug this thing in, goes almost up to 175 really quickly, and then, oh, we're past 175. We're going quite significantly past 175. Oh, that's 250. And then when it hits the full 250, then it drops down to the regulated voltage. It drops down to 175, which is kind of annoying. It's probably not great for the tube life. It doesn't really matter that much for my purposes. If you're using this for something other than Nixie tubes, that might matter. So, and then when I unplug it, it drops pretty quickly down to about 80 volts, and then it takes bloody forever to actually drain all the way out. So I could probably put like a fucking 33k resistor or something across it to make it go faster. But anyway, so we're down there to like 10 volts now. Yeah, it takes a while for this thing to actually completely die. But so just an interesting little fact of that particular power supply. Get these out of here. I'm going to, what am I going to do? The first thing I'm going to do is the lamp. Come on, use your words, Cvetka. The dot, the neon lamp for the lower dot, the flickering one, which you didn't see on stream. It takes a while for that to start happening. But I'm going to pull that resistor out. Where is my pointer tool? I'm going to pull that resistor out right there, or pull one end of it out and put an ammeter across this to see what current I'm getting across the bulb. Actually, I'm curious to... You know what? Actually, before I do that, I'm going to check how much current is being pulled, because I didn't have a working ammeter at the time that I built this. I'm going to check... Where is it? Yeah, that's high voltage output. I'm going to check the high voltage total current draw on this thing. So, let me see. I need wire. Give me a bit of red wire. No, give me a bit of orange wire. That is bright as hell. Oh! I'm smart. I'm a fucking idiot. I didn't turn on automatic gain. That's why. Derp. That makes a lot more sense. put this here. Okay, and then I want to check the current across these two wires. So, there's no fucking way that this thing is pulling more than 500 milliamps. 500 milliamp scale. And polarity does matter on an analog meter, a lot more than it matters on a digital meter. I really love using an analog meter though. They're really great for a lot of things. I very much prefer them for current measurements in most situations. This one goes to the board. Negative terminal on the meter goes to the board. Positive goes to the power supply. And 500 milliamp scale. And let's plug it in. And hopefully it doesn't explode. Are the lights on? Yes, the tubes are on. Wow, that is pulling so little current. Are you serious? Wow, that's pulling, seriously? 2.5 milliamps. That's 50, that's 10, no, 5 milliamps. It's pulling 5 milliamps. I can math. Hi, Silicate. Sorry that you missed the beginning of it. Went through all of the many problems that I want to fix or change or improve on my Nixie clock. So 50 scale, yeah, that's pulling 5 milliamps on the what is that? In fact, it's pulling 4.5 a current according to this. 4.5 milliamps on the high voltage. Those are surplus Soviet IN-12 Nixie tubes. So, 5 milliamp scale. I'm going to unplug this thing. And I need to figure out how I'm going to check the current that is running through this. Is going to involve soldering. Check the current that's going through the bulb with the flickering problem. And then I will need to look up what the current ought to be. Because I just kind of winged it. I think I used the recommended resistor value or the included resistor with one of the lamps, and then I just duplicated that for the other lamp, even though the other lamp doesn't have exactly the same electrical properties. You want to... Oh! For a second, I was about to ask a really stupid question. Do you want to make a thing using tubes, or do you want to make the tubes themselves? And then I realized who I'm talking to. Yeah, that would be cool. Please make me some custom vacuum tubes. That, I believe, requires some relatively specific equipment, however, to temper the glass and stuff. And then you have to... there is a, what they call a getter, which I forget what kind of metal it is, but there is a small piece of metal that is put inside the tube with all of the other shit, and then you have to bake the entire tube. Yeah, you need a multi-stage vacuum pump. After the whole tube is assembled, you have to bake it so that the getter will absorb any residual gases and stuff. inside the tube. So you have to, they basically, I think they put it in an induction heater or something. I've seen it done. I've watched videos of vacuum tube manufacture. And then cold cathode tubes, like the Nixie tubes, they are manufactured the same way. It's just that after you vacuum them out, you fill them with neon, and they still have a getter in them, but it's a different metal, I think. If you do make some fucking vacuum tubes, though, send them to me so I can make something out of them. I'll make a radio. I'll send it back to you or some shit. That would be cool as hell. For anyone else watching, frequent viewer Silicate Witch is named that because she does glass blowing. So, what am I doing? Right, I gotta disconnect this thing. It's kind of a slow stream insofar as it's a slow brain day because my brain is just... I'm just completely mentally discombobulated and everything is so disorganized because, again, recapping for those of you who weren't here at the beginning of the stream, the, I was going to be gone for 2 weeks, and then, a week before we left, an electrician came in to replace literally all of the electrical outlets in our apartment, and so we had to move everything around, and it completely fucked up our lives, so I had to stop streaming a week early, and then since we got back, it's just, like... Since we got back from our 2 weeks across the state, I've just been too warm to want to move, to do anything, to reorganize the place. So this stream is somewhat impromptu and extremely disorganized. What? Did I misplace that fucking screwdriver? Not the one that's sitting right here. Different screwdriver. You can't see that because it's behind my head. I can use that one, but there's a better one that fits, and I should have 2 of them in this box, but I don't see them. And I know there's one here because I was using it just a couple of minutes ago. By a couple of minutes ago, I mean right before the stream started. I'm so smart. I'd lose my head if it weren't attached. There it is. Found it. I constantly have the problem when I'm working at stuff on the train club. Like, I'm not moving there where I'm working on a control panel underneath the layout, working on a system panel underneath the railroad layout in a little, like, beach chair. Yeah, a little bit. I'm glad I'm not there. I think it was like 105 last week at my parents' place. But, shit. When I'm working down there, I'm not moving from that spot for like an hour and a half, and I will set something down right next to me, and then immediately not be able to find it, like 2 minutes later. I did that twice in a row the last time I was working at the club. It was a giant pain in the ass. So anyway, we're going to remove the dot board. This, as you might be able to tell, is a Electro Cookie brand proto board. I fucking love those, and I just sliced it. I sliced off a very thin section of it, which you're not really supposed to do, but that's how I assembled the dot. And the wires for it are not very long. But all I need to do is get that resistor out. So, guess it's time to actually heat up the iron. I'm trying to figure out how the fuck I'm going to work on this thing. Because... let's see, there isn't really, because the wiring is so short. Now, I think I'm going to pull the tubes out. Just so that they're out of the way. More room to work. I'm very glad that I did actually go to the trouble of buying the sockets and not soldering to the tubes directly. Because I do have a couple of Nixie tubes, or no, I have one Nixie tube that is soldered directly to the PCB for it. Fortunately, it's basically just a socket PCB that's separate from everything else, but yeah. Okay, that gives me enough room to work on this thing. I think this out of the way. This out of the way. Now I need to get all my soldering shit. Let's put the tubes somewhere safe. Set them over there. Need the fume extractor. Pad that sits on. And actually, let me see. Do that. Fume extractor fan on its somewhat sound dampening mount. Cord back here. Yep, okay. Get that. Soldering iron. And... oh, the fun jar. Important to not let lead waste go into the landfill or into the incinerator. I don't think we use a waste energy plant where I live. They do where my parents live. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start heating that up. No. What am I going to do with these screws? I will put them back in the standoffs where they go so that they're out of the way. And flat vise. How the fuck did Meowface get downsized? That was weird. Come on, there we go. My face tracking got all screwed up. Okay. Put it that way. So you can see it better. Does this help? Not really. It's not a great setup, but all I have to do for right now is lift one end. Actually, you know what? What am I doing? I'm going to unplug the soldering iron and let it cool for a few minutes. Because this is actually a good chance to test. I gotta get some tweezers. the new desoldering iron. Right. Silicate, I think you missed it. All of my desoldering woes are solved. Ah, whoops. Because I got... Number one, put my safety glasses back on. Number two, I got a desoldering iron. It is a piston desoldering pump that has a self-heating tip on it. Yeah, famous last words. So this is going to be fun, I think. Let me see. I don't want to pull the soldering iron out because I already started heating it up a bit. I just set it on the mount that it came with. I guess I don't want it near that plastic. Schloop. Yes, that is correct. This will also make work at the Model Train Club so much easier. Yeah, this is what I bought myself instead of buying a 14-foot sailboat. Okay, start her up. Do I have a light? Yes, I do. I have a light. You can barely see that. Yeah, light's on. You start coming up to temperature. You stay out of the way. Yeah, like what? Like on slot machines and stuff? Just gonna have to flip the board over for this. Reorient it. Cool, that sounds like fun, yeah. This in here. Which point am I pulling? Oh, I'm pulling that one. Do I? No, I do want it the other way. As you can probably tell, all of this is extremely jank amateur work. Okay. That point right there. Oh yeah, there's the white smoke that they were warning about. You probably can't see that. Oh yeah, you can see that there. That is the mica burning. Give that a few minutes. The light's still on? The light is still on. I should get my roll of solder out, too. That would be good. That would be useful. Ugh. Are we hot enough yet? Almost. Wait a minute. Huh. Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, the setup is, about what, 2 months ago, I got a kind of a fire under my ass to, you know what, I'll try VTubing. I'll do my engineering work on VTubing because no one reads my fucking blog, so we'll do this instead. Because the little bit of video content that I've done gets way more engagement, and I don't do this just to hear myself talk. So, yeah, I'll try VTubing. So I spent like 2 weeks building this recording workbench. It's a whole sophisticated thing that I like for the camera mounts and the magnifier and all of that shit. Believe me, the work area around the recording setup is chaos. It's very much built on a budget out of recycled parts. I grew up watching Junkyard Wars, and everything I build is informed by that. Alright. Oh yeah, okay. Put that out. Hold it this way. Holy shit! Oh, that's beautiful! Oh, very much, yeah. One of my general rules is if I have to do any soldering at the Railroad Club, which I have to do very frequently these days, I do not use the soldering equipment that they have there. I take my own bag of tools because, like, we have all of the tools, or most of the tools, for doing what I need to do at the club. But if I take my own toolbox, I don't have to spend half an hour looking for everything. Instead, I spend half an hour digging through my duffel bag. But having all the stuff there, I also bring my entire soldering kit with me because they have soldering irons there that other people use for working on their trains, and they are fucking terrible. I hate them. I will not use the communal soldering irons. Are you free? You are not quite free. Oh, yep, you're free. Haha, check that out. Holy shit, miracle. I'm gonna unplug that for now because I don't need it at the moment. Yeah, I am terrified to know how frequently they have to replace the tips on the soldering irons there. It can't be good. Okay, so let me see. I need... Where's that piece of wire? I want to see... Let's see if I can get these into the same... This is a little bit of a no-no, but I'm going to try to get both of these into the same terminal. So I've got 175 volts there. Actually, what am I doing? I only need the one wire for this, because all the tubes are unplugged anyway. I can pull that out. Okay, so that's that. Get this out of the way. Oh, nice. Yeah, that I can see how that would be convenient. These. Get this mounted back up there just for convenience sake. And, meter, you get out of the way. It's over that. Meter, 5 milliamp scale. And clips. Ground goes on. Wait, I think I have this backwards. Come on, brain. No, I don't have it backwards. Okay, yes. So this should go to the resistor that goes through the lamp to ground. The other terminal will go to the high voltage source. Uh, 5 milliamp scale is set. Fairly certain that's correct. Oh, you could at least for a second there really tell how unstable that was. That lamp is pulling oh, is that the flickering? Hey, flicker again. Right now it is pulling 1 milliamp. A second ago it was pulling 2 milliamps. Wait a second for it to flicker. I'm gonna leave that doing its thing while I move over to the PC. Look something up real quick. Neon lamp. Milliamps. Google, you useless piece of shit. NE2 only needs a few elements, few milliamps. Neon science, 15, 30 milliamps. Bye, Mario. Love you. Yeah. My brain is too lazy to go through calculating all of the math for this. I'm just going to use a slightly weaker resistor to try to get this up from... I don't know whether or not it flickered while I wasn't looking at it, but... that... I'm going to use... Let me see, what value is that? I'm just going to measure it with a meter because it's a 4-band resistor and I can never remember how to read those. Or a 5-band resistor, rather. Bob, okay, thank you. Yep, that would be the instability of the ionization from insufficient current. From what I have read. Get this here. Come on. Okay. That is a 120k resistor. What is this one? Actually, might not give me an accurate reading because of capacitance and stuff. Nope, that is a 150k resistor. 150k, 120k. I'm going to play it safe and take it down to 100k. That sounds reasonable-ish. We'll check how much current it pulls. Okay. Where are my resistors? I know where some of them are. I don't know where all of them are. Again, chaos. Thank you for bearing with me. Oh. Hey, it was right on top of the stack. That makes life easier. Okay, 100k resistors. You are going to be... Let's see, I'll put it in... let me see. Thinking about this as I go along. I need to get the meter out of the way. Switch that. Check it again. After I swap these out. So... soldering iron back in. Start her up. And get the tube for the board back off. How much of a gap is that? That much of a gap. Come on. Okay, that's fine. Flat dice. Right there. Come on, there we go. We've got a few minutes to warm up. Presumably, assuming that it works like my other soldering irons, light should go out when it's warm, I assume. Unfortunately, it doesn't easily sit in an orientation where the light is easily visible. There we go, I guess that's good. See if it starts producing white smoke again. I'm kind of curious if this thing is going to try to... Yeah, they are. I would just use the stand that is um holding my normal soldering iron, except that it's currently holding my normal soldering iron. I'm kind of curious if it's gonna, like, as it desolders, try to yank the entire resistor through the hole. I won't be able to tell if that's happening, and it won't work if it tries, but that would be funny. Light is still on. This is also not adjustable temperature. I assume it's not adjustable temperature because it matters less for desoldering. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit hotter. So far, so good, though. Only done 1 point with it, but it worked miraculously well. Lunetta has a GameCube controller that needs one of the analog sticks replaced. And this will make that job significantly easier. Light's still on, but that should be plenty hot. Okay. And... there. Oops. You know what helps is pushing the plunger first. It did. Try to yank the whole fucking resistor out through the hole. Where did those tweezers go? Yeah, that makes sense. There we go. Damn. I love this tool. I'm so happy with that. I am now done with the desoldering iron for the moment. Now I need to do resoldering, so I'm going to plug this thing in. I can figure out which way the fucking cord goes. Helps to be smarter than the iron. My soldering iron is adjustable temperature, but like the kind of primitive kind, but it works. Like it's not precise, but this one has worked for me a lot better than soldering irons I had in the past that were allegedly adjustable temperature. I've never used the tweezer style. Alright, now at the moment I only need to solder one of these two. If I space out and solder both of them immediately, someone slap me on the wrist. I only need to solder the side connected to the lamp at the moment. Cut. Yeah. I will say that waiting for tools to warm up and cool down is probably the slowest part of trying to stream electronics so far. Electronics rework. Not there yet. Shoot, what was I gonna say? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Da, 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 da. Do you think I'll get copyright struck for that? Go. Looks good. I'll unplug that for the moment. I don't need it at the moment. Cutters. Those aren't cutters. Yeah, I'm smart. Take that off. Trim that one out. Straighten it out first, then trim it a little bit. So that bend this out and test it. Current. We're aiming for something more like 3 to 5 milliamps. On there. All right. And ooh, 5 milliamp scale. The desoldering iron is still a little bit warm. Positive goes to the power supply. Negative goes to the resistor. And plug her in and see what happens. Oh, that's right at 2 milliamps. 2.1 milliamps. It didn't flicker on startup though. No, it's still flickering. It dropped to 1.2. Yeah, just a bit. Yeah, I think you're still flickering. That is unstable. Yep. Okay. 100K is still too much. Does anyone... Oh, there's definitely not. DigiKey has an online calculator for plugging in information to get the resistor value needed for an LED. I don't assume they have a tool like that for neon lamps. It would be really nice if they did, though. Because the thing is, I don't know what the math to figure this out is off the top of my head, and I don't want to look it up in the middle of a stream. So... at this point, it's just trial and error. So I'm going to pull that one back off. The other thing is it might partly be dependent on the electrical properties of the specific lamp, even though I think they're all relatively close to the same. And I don't actually know what the lamp is. No, yeah. I appreciate that. But I couldn't tell you what the specifics of the lamp are. But sure, if you want to have a look, that would be greatly appreciated. It is a neon lamp of indeterminate manufacture running on 175 volts DC. However, the change from a where the hell did that box of resistors go? Yeah, look through this stack real quick. The change from 120k to 100k, approximately, very barely increased the current. So... Okay, 47k, I don't want to go there. I don't want to try going that low yet. Okay, 100, 10k. One of the ways in which my workspace is completely disorganized is that normally all of my resistors are in labeled bags that are in a box in order of resistance. And a whole bunch of them are just laying about the place out of that box. This is 47k. I just saw the box in question, though, that has the rest of them. I moved it off of my workbench like an hour before the stream. Where are you? He's in there. I put you up here. No, I did not. Oh, there it is. I see it. Step over all this shit. There it is. $82, $56, and $47. I'm gonna try 56. Yeah. Try you next. Subtract the maintain voltage. Yeah. Oh well. The nice thing is, even if you kind of overdrive them, they don't, like, burn out immediately. In fact, fun fact, the way that you recondition Nixie tubes is Nixie tubes sputter. The cathodes that are lit up continuously sputter off metal. What's up, Medalls? Hey, Talon, how you doing? The cathodes that are lit up continuously sputter off metal, which coats the inside of the glass. They last basically forever. They never burn out. However, what happens is they reach a point where they are unreadable because... Oh dear, I'm sorry. They reach a point where the tube works, but you can't read it because so much sputtered off metal has coated the inside of the glass tube that it is opaque silvered. I have a tube that is almost like that, where you can barely read it through the front, but you can see it through the sides. But what that does also is it sputters metal onto the other cathodes that aren't used as frequently, and that tends to mess them up in a way where they won't completely light. So... didn't quite free up. Put a little solder rack on that. Just gonna plug in both irons for now. Make my life easier, but... There we go. There we go. Not the recommended way to use those, I'm sure, but okay. I'm going to be attempting to use you. Yeah. So true, bestie. Okay. Realize you guys can't see what I'm doing at the moment. Currently wishing I had made the wiring to this a little bit, just a little bit longer. Yeah. Yes, you are. Okay. Got it. Send out. Put you back up. And check it again. Apologies, you guys can't really see the meter there. But okay. Negative goes to the resistor. Positive goes to the power supply. 5 milliamp scale. Whoops, too bent out of sorts there. Oh, that's... Oh, right. Duh, I'm smart. I even mentioned it earlier in the video, or in the stream, that the high voltage power supply goes all the way up to 250 volts before dropping back to 175. That was part of the needle wiggling that I saw. However, it is now stable at 1.9 milliamps. And it looks a lot better. Like the glow around the cathode looks a little bit more complete. Oh, right. What I was going to say is that when sputtering from the cathodes cover up the other cathodes that don't get used as frequently, those cathodes that have been sputtered onto do not glow as brightly. And the way that you fix that is by overdriving them, the cathodes that have been darkened. You just run them at a higher than normal current, and it fixes the problem. And I'm going to say that the problem here is also fixed. We'll see. In, I don't know, a few days after I finish working on this thing, we will see if it actually is better now, but I think it is, so we'll go with that. I just need to solder the other end of it. Straighten this out. Put that in. And put it in the other direction. Okay. I'm gonna unplug the desoldering iron because I think I am done with it for now. Let that cool. Put some tin on it. Clean it up. Seems all right. Let that cool. And that should now hypothetically be done. So I'm going to remount it. And then got about an hour left on the stream at most. I don't want to run late tonight. I'm going to work on those bottom light LEDs for the second hand. All right. Need to put reconnect the high voltage line. Go. And I'm going to set the clock to the side while I work on other shit. Here's the starter. And I gotta do a little tiny bit of DigiKey calculations. What year is this for calculating? High voltage, 3.3 volts. Forward voltage, I'm going to say 2.2, even though it's a green LED, so it'll be higher than that. Forward current, I want it to be relatively dim. I'm going to say 5 milliamps, $220. How about that? Probably have a 220 just sitting on the workbench somewhere. Actually, let me look through medicine bottle. Parts that I pull off of stuff tend to get put in these for sorting later, which never happens. Oh, I see one right there. Red, red, brown. That is 220. Pull out a second one in case I decide that I want a second LED on there. Off. That at the moment. I need the worst tool that I have no choice but to use on a regular basis. Fucking third hand. I hate these things. I haven't actually thought about how I'm going to melt the LED or mount the LED yet. But probably I'll just use solid core wire and clamp them to the bottom of the housing base plate so that it's kind of on a gooseneck. No, but where is the box of green LEDs? Just had it. There it is. Put the LED on the positive side. That. And I have to get out the other second hand, or the other third hand, which makes it the fourth hand, I guess. Because those will not reach. Good enough, probably. Let me see. Red and some black. Solid core wire. We'll put on heat shrink when I'm done. Looks better if I put it at this angle. Come on. There, the red one. Right. What? Looks good enough. Shut that off for the moment. So I need to go find the heat gun. There it is. Hey, and I get to try out the new nozzle that I bought. Heat gun, and I need the tubing. Love the absolutely ridiculous, goofy faces that my model makes when I'm not in front of the camera. Good night. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you again. Got this. Where did I put the new nozzles? There they are. That doesn't fit quite right. The nozzle requires a small amount of adjustment to actually fit. There yet. Requires a slightly less small amount of adjustment. Oh, much better. Okay. Let's plug in, and I need to find the right tubing. Grab that a bit. Will this fit around the register? It sure will. Length. This is a little bit out of focus, isn't it? It's better. Down there. And get this one to length. Go, do. Shrink these down. It should be good. There we go. That is now insulated. Cut these off an even length. Soldering iron back on. Maybe I'll actually make this a top length, hanging over. That might be the best way to do it. All right. Some skinny 30 gauge wire. That's fine, I guess. That. Skip these. Oops. Yeah, I'll do that, I guess. Lighting is always a struggle. I am getting close to needing to replace my brass punch. Okay. One. Tin these. And then put them together. One. And there's two. You know that VTubers, or I guess streamers in general, are supposed to avoid having dead air of just long periods of silence, but such is the burden of doing concentration-intensive, focus-intensive tasks on screen. So, oh well. This piece left over on one of these. That is insulated. We get the other one. Too big. half of this. Hey Mario, welcome back. I'm kind of giddy. We had, I think, a new viewer who was actually relatively engaged in the whole thing, another person who actually does electronic work. It makes me happy. Okay, that's insulated. What happened to that scrap of larger diameter? Left over from doing the resistor. Put that on. Put it around them. That. And shrink that on there. Two. And twist these up. And put one more piece of tubing. I'm not sure if the silicate household is still with us. Or if they went to bed. Will this piece of tubing fit over both? Yes, it will. Good, 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 good. Thank you. That. Okay. And it should do something like that. Crane over from above. Now, get all this shit out of the way so that I actually have room to put the clock up here. And then I'm going to have to repack all this shit tomorrow before I go back to the train club. Try it with just the one LED for now. The new desoldering iron works fucking fantastic, by the way. I'm so happy with that. Pop back in here. Ugh. Find where am I gonna actually I think maybe let's do it right there like that. It's coming up at a little bit of an angle, but I can put that probably right under there. Feed the wiring through down here. We'll try it that way. I think it'll look cooler if it's bottom lit instead of top lit. And I guess I will take 3.3 volts from right behind this terminal block. Or, oh shit, hey, look at that. There's actually... I don't think I need to solder it in. Because there is an unused 3.3 volt terminal block right there. Let's try that. I don't know what I put that on there for. Maybe I put that on there for eventually adding a backlight to the meter. Hey. Fucking, Meowface quit again. I realized what it is. I realize now why Meowface keeps quitting. It's the fucking update Android notifications keep popping up. I hate that. Hello. Now, there we go. Okay, now it's working again. Okay. Don't need the soldering iron. You're cool, you're cool. Okay. Desoldering iron is cooled down enough. That around. And power it back up. Tubes are not in it, obviously, but now the bottom dot is much brighter than the top one because of the different resistor. But it should be okay if I multiplex it. Might also just be because it's a bigger tube. But, that's still pretty bright. But... if I put it right underneath the middle, it should probably look okay. I will need to find some hardware to do that. That little screw hole right there. Since this is recycled plastic from an earlier project, there is already an existing hole there. Let me find a screw for that. And my headphone cable is caught on the third hand. Where are the 2mm screws? long. I think a 2.5 will fit through that hole. Yeah, probably not. Need some kind of thin plastic. Make a impromptu washer out of. Yeah, that's only big enough for an M2. Although the M2 isn't long enough. Okay, that's actually a problem. What did I talk? I could just widen the hole. Colin, when am I not having an existential crisis? There. Now, I think an M2.5 will fit through it. Let me see if I can find old one. 2.5. Yeah. I'll just bring over one of the junk drawer screw boxes and I'll look through that. Yeah. I really like the Starbound soundtrack. A, because it's pretty, in my opinion. And B, because it doesn't get copyright struck. No one gives a shit about Starbound anymore, except for me. Shut the fuck up. Always that joke with you. Not this one. Yeah. About this box. Come on. Oh. Found it. There's one. I can use this. Realize that it made it look like I'm going to use the lid of this box for this purpose. I'm not. That little piece of plastic. Scissors. Scissors. There. Of course, you're gonna reuse that joke. It'll be funny one day. Sure, it will. I believe in you. And a screw. And the plastic washer, which you absolutely cannot fucking see in that lighting. That's okay, it's clear. It's clear that you can't see it. And a nut. Let's see if I can get this. Is the hole big enough? Not quite. Let's go a little bit bigger. Let me grab it. Yes. That should be adequate. Slightly over adequate, but oh well. This way. This is going to be slightly challenging. On there. Actually, you know what? It'd be significantly fucking easier if I just dismount the meter from the base. Yeah, dismount the meter from the base. Wow. Those do not have very much protrusion. That's okay. Okay. Screw goes between the leads on the LED. Like so. It goes through that hole. Get the nut started on it. Actually, it's going to be easier to put the nut, put the screw into it. Got it. Okay. Screwdriver. Not that screwdriver. That screwdriver. There we go. these back in. I can see what I'm doing. Go. All right. And that back that way a little bit. Now, let me put in the tubes while I'm at it, since I'm not getting any further than this tonight. The really annoying thing about this order of tubes is that I think I originally purchased on eBay 4 IN12A tubes, and they sent me 1 IN12A and 3 IN12Bs, or maybe I have that backwards, I can't remember. Doesn't matter, because all it means, one of those two types has a decimal point in it, which I don't need, doesn't matter for my purposes. And the tubes are otherwise interchangeable, but still, it's like, come on, man, what the fuck? Okay. Let's see how this looks. Not bad. I would like to block this side of the LED, though. Well, maybe I can just put a small piece of heat shrink tubing on it. So that it's not as blaringly bright from the side. This fit? Not quite. This fit a little bit too much. And it's not opaque. Check the other box. Okay, but the clear one's not going to cut it. Oh, that'll work. Give me like a really small piece of that. Like that long, maybe. That looks okay, I guess. The problem is, if I put it in that spot, it's kind of blocked by the mechanism. So I put it, yeah, that doesn't look very good either. I think I will keep it in that spot there. I can adjust it as necessary for readability. Actually, that's probably not going to work very well, because the idea is I need to be able to see where the damn needle is. So when it drops there. Yeah. Let's adjust this. Come on. Mildly annoying. So pull it up here on the screw. Ah, much better. To some degree, this is very stupid. I should not be sticking my hands inside of that machine while it's running because it has 175 volts DC. However, the speaker was not anywhere close to the 175 volt DC circuitry, so it's fine. Yeah. I guess. Adjust it there so that it's actually illuminating the meter section. Good enough, I say as I continue to fiddle with it. Yeah, adding a second one on the other side would probably be nice, but whatever. Alright. I'm gonna call that it. I'm gonna call that good for the stream. Accomplished the thing that I was looking to accomplish. Two of them. I'm gonna say two of them. 1.5? 1.5. Because I got, yay for accomplishments, indeed. The lower neon lamp in the dot should stop fucking flickering. And the second hand is now illuminated, somewhat chaotically, but oh well. Yeah. Might still add a second LED to it. I don't know. Or... You know what? Let's try moving it to the top. I can move it to the top. That is the thing that I can do. Unplug it. Stream over, I say immediately before not ending the stream. Out. Screw out. It is the Cvetka way. I need this to look at least kind of cool. Using the green, even though it's the good green, is a compromise, since I do like how extremely orange this whole clock is. Because the power LED, that's going to be one of the downsides of replacing the Teensy with a different microcontroller, is that the power LED on the Teensy 3.6 is orange. Or it's not the power LED, it's the pin 13 LED, which I have hooked up, I believe, to the shutdown line of the 175 volt power supply, which means that if the orange light on the Teensy is on, there is 175 volts present. Or at least there should be. That looks kind of ridiculous. You know what? It'll probably look less ridiculous if I go in from the back. Slightly less. Do it like... ah, shit. That. Will the cover close over that? It should. I think it should. Actually lower the wiring a little bit if I can. This here is the after credits segment, yes. There we go. Okay. Let me remount this again. I lost the washer for it. All right. Try it now. Probably partly the oh, you know what? This might be a good idea, actually. 1 second. Where are my tweezers? It's it way more evenly if it's not blocked like that. What I can do with this is I can cut it at an angle like that. Now put it around the LED. Yeah, I think I'm good with that. There we go. Ta-da! It's in shadow. Actually, let me turn down the exposure. That's a little bit closer to what the human eye sees. Ah, it's pretty good. Yeah. I'm happy enough with that. And the specific wavelength of the green LED doesn't show up on camera very well. It looks fucking fantastic. I love these LEDs. Because most green LEDs have kind of a yellowish hue to them, to the point where when I put them next to these ones, they just look yellow. So anyway, okay. Now the stream is over. Hey, look at that! 8:01. Nailed it. Almost. Oh, shut the fuck up. Yes, it also looks better to the doll eye. Goofball. Anyway, huzzah! That's 2 things out of how many things do I need to fix on this fucking thing? I mean, the big thing is replacing the actual microcontroller and real-time clock. I'm gonna need to do a lot. Yes, I'm extremely sassy pants. I am gonna need to do a lot more pre-stream preparation for doing that, for doing the microcontroller work, and for doing the multiplexer work, adding the dots to the multiplexer circuit so that they are not so fucking bright. That I'm gonna have to do way more pre-stream preparation for doing. So, but I'm happy with this so far. So, alright. I'm gonna call that good, and I will see you all. I have no idea. I don't know if I'm gonna do another stream this week. I might not. I'm probably not gonna do that much game streaming for a while. I want to focus on DIY stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I want to focus on workbench work instead of spending a lot of time streaming. The Fallout stream was fun, but this is the thing that I actually started VTubing to do. So I'm gonna focus on this, and that's not going to be as frequent. So, good night, dear. Love you. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And I'll see you when I see ya. Later.